Right. Sorry, I can see you there requesting. Let me just action that one. See if we can get you back. Yeah, you're back. This is the worst technical difficulties I've had for over a year.
It's the Russians, Shaggy.
It is. It
They
is.
talking.
Bastards. I've got myself logged in on my laptop and on my phone, so we got double login, but it still crashed a little bit early on. But we haven't got the music now, so this is good. So shall we carry on then?
Yeah, to be honest, I would have made it crash if I was talking for too long anyway and rambling. So I believe me, I would have made it crash. But no, it was I'd just like to recap it. It's all about integrity. It's all about trust, and it's all about it for me, for us, for Roy. It has to come from Ukrainians, and I'll tell you the reason why. It's so simple. It's because if people, non-Ukrainians, look at Ukrainians that they trust, and Ukrainians advocate for us or retweet for us or support us, then other people will believe us, and that's really important. And I think that's probably, and as I was saying earlier about, we absolutely do support the military, increasingly through perhaps direct sort of intervention and funding. Fierce Calm, who lots of you guys may know on here, you know Lee Watson really well. So we've supported Lee and his team in Lviv, who undertake mental health trauma in the main, and in particular in recent months, as I understand, we're speaking to Lee ex-POWs who have gone through just utterly horrific situations in Russian captivity. So we support them, and on another, perhaps a physical way in which we support rehabilitation is, as I say, if you look through our feed or search on negative pressure wound therapy. So we funded an organisation called Colo to the tune of around 20. I think about 20. I can't remember if it's 27 or 28,000 euros or dollars.
It's about £25,000, I think.
And that is a way whereby open wounds are closed far quicker by applying a seal over the wound and essentially sucking debris and bacteria out of the wound to mitigate infection, and closes the wounds on average about 30% quicker. So, and I suppose I'll just bore you with one last thing just before I hand back to you, Shaggy, is when it comes to mental health or physical rehabilitation of an individual, I personally liken it to throwing a pebble into a pond. That pebble hits the water, and that's the one person that you are helping. One civilian, one soldier, but the ripples that extend from that are just phenomenal, because it helps clearly directly their friends or their family, partner, wife, husband, children, extended family, their parents. From there, it helps if they're able to function in inverted commas normal way. That helps the neighbours. It helps the small local community. It helps the street, and it just grows. As the ripples grow, the benefits grow, and that must always. It's something I try to impress in my messaging sometimes, when particularly we were looking at trauma rehabilitation. But that's a passionate thing for me, in people understanding that we're not just helping in these instances, helping people with mental health and physical trauma. You're not just helping the one person. We do not know the impact we could have on a significant amount of people. It could be the difference between potential domestic violence happening or not. That is the reality. It could be the difference between someone getting a job later or not. It could be that they can function and support their family or not. We will never know. But unless we support these people, these unknown, beautiful, magical things will never, ever happen. And just on that, since 2000, 2025, we've sent around £60,000 of our direct of the donations we receive, the financial donations, to organisations in Ukraine that help with either of those two things. And amen. I'll put you back in the capable hands of Roy.
Thanks a lot. You ran out of juice. Excellent. There's lots of really important things you mentioned there. Integrity being one of the important ones, and what I'd term as the butterfly effect of actions done now and how they ripple through. So on the integrity side of things, yes, as we've known over the past nearly 4 years now, there's been kind of various talks of scams and stuff like that. So it's very, very important that fundraising and stuff like that are kind of verified. And one of the positives of the downside, I suppose, of the British Charity Commission being so harsh on these things is that if they say you're a good charity, and well, one, if you get charity status, and two, if you keep charity status, which you have, that kind of proves on a certain level that you're a good charity, because the British Charity Commission are a bit of a pain in the ass. But it also means that the people that you have to vet very, very well. Otherwise, that will put your charity status in jeopardy as well. So that's another good thing as well. I'd consider you guys kind of a hub. And you mentioned that you are a hub, for instance, in Epsom, but you have a lot of spokes going off to different things, like, as you mentioned before, hospitals and other charities, as well as other individuals, whether they're charities or just volunteer organisations. But you vet them all. So anything that comes through you can basically be deemed as kosher, and that's really important. I like the fact that you've got your social medias as well, and you're spreading it out there. This particular podcast, once I've figured out, once I've knitted it together, because it's over separate spaces now, we can put up on I normally put it up on Spotify, and then YouTube, it goes automatically through to YouTube. But I just want to say to you, Surrey, if you have our spaces, take this space. I can give you the files and whatever, and you can use it in whatever way you want for your own social media as well. So that's if you needed permission, not that you needed it from me, you can just do that anyway, and clip it and snip it, as it were. But I was a little bit earlier on, you did mention that one of the things you do is as well as helping the refugees, well, not refugees, the people in need in Ukraine, you also help refugees or whatever, internally or externally displaced persons, or people that have come to the UK to try and get away from the war and try and start a new life and try and provide for their families, both in the UK and back in Ukraine as well. You found them jobs. So it says this on your website. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? It kind of just tags on a little bit to the end of what you were talking about before, about helping people, helping Ukrainians who come over to the UK, in any way you can, basically.
Yeah, again, when we first started, as well as all the aid coming in to go back out to Ukraine, we were finding that Ukrainians that not only were already established in the community, but Ukrainians that were finding their way into Epsom, with the help of Epsom, your refugee network, they were coming into the hub regularly to help volunteer, in those early weeks, in fact. And when you get talking to them, they were living with sponsor families, relying on savings that they'd managed to bring with them, or had access to, or family money, but didn't have jobs. So I think it was either week 3 or 4, we decided to put a jobs board up in the hub, which was the retail space at the start. And because we were networking with a lot of local businesses already, Muffin Break was a coffee shop next to our hub. They gave all our volunteers 30% discount on every product that they sold, to anyone that was working in our hub, which was fantastic of them. But they also took on a Ukrainian volunteer as a job, and then the word got around. I think Costa Coffee took one on. The RAC Club, which is a large members club out here in Epsom, golf club, spa resort thing, they were taking a lot on. Local dentists took one on. So this job board, actual businesses would come down and contact us and post jobs on it. And that just grew in connection with the Epsom Your Refugee Network, that, we just became a place to come, like an unofficial recruitment agency, is what we became. And I think I need to recheck these numbers, but I think we've probably placed 60 or 70 people in jobs over the period of time. And some of them are still in those jobs now. And it's been great because, Nick touched on mental health and things, but it's bad enough to come here away from your family and then live with a sponsor family, but then not to be able to pay your own way and earn a living also is difficult. So you saw a change in these people because they went to work, and then after work they would come back to the hub and they'd help pack boxes or help fix wheelchairs or mobility aids. Or some of the Ukrainian families are fantastic because certain times on a Friday they'll come and make Ukrainian food in the hub. We've got a little cooker there and stuff, and they'll bring ingredients down, and whoever's volunteering at the time will get a nice meal out of it. It's a real community thing. It's Nick touched on earlier. It's become a community here.
One of the cultural things that I've had reinforced to me since, and many of the Ukrainians who have come here they've become friends. But I suppose it's natural to many of our volunteers. One of the things found out very, very quickly was that, yeah, indeed, every single Ukrainian woman, their borscht is the best, and it's always a secret recipe that has come down through generations. And that was just reinforced to me. And the other part of me was, though, that Ukrainians here in the UK, when just before my first visit to Ukraine, they were telling me that how the food tastes different here. It's not as tasty. And I didn't really, I had no idea, didn't understand what they were referring to. And indeed, they were completely true. Ukraine, the produce there, which many people will know, is just in many respects far superior in terms of taste, etc. And yeah, I've become a lover of Ukrainian food, and I think many people in the hub have, as Roy was saying. But yeah,
and there's some stuff that we do have in common, Shaggy, which is when the food comes out on a Friday evening or a Wednesday evening, there's always a bottle of wine that's been stashed away by one of our volunteers that gets opened, and we'll share some nice food and have a have a few glasses of wine while we're all busy doing whatever other last jobs that we need to do before we can go home for the evening.
Excellent. Right, I've got to confess, I'm not a big borscht fan. I've tried it. I'm not a big borscht fan, but varenki, I love varenki. However, I like my varenki fried rather than boiled. I've been virtually slapped around the head a few times by a few Ukrainians saying, you can't do that. And I'm like, well, it's the British way of doing it.
Actually, when I was on the way home from Lviv, and I was staying with the husband of one of the Ukrainian ladies here. It was at Easter 2023. I ended up with two full meals in the space of 90 minutes because I was invited to two different houses and I had to eat. And his mother left him with vareniki to take home, and he indeed, in the fridge. And the next day he fried them up with some almost like a fat and sort of bacon type thing. So yeah, actually I like mine fried as well. So I'm with you on that.
Oh, excellent. It's not just me then. I do like them a little bit crispy on the outs. Just the edges a little bit crispy. I don't, if it was just boiled, it just looks like it's dead. And it just looks wrong. So I like it a little bit crispy. But go on.
I was going to say, Shaggy, I know it's been a troublesome space for you, but thank you for doing this. But hey, and I see a good friend there from Portsmouth. Hello, mate. Hello, Martin.
Yes. Well, if anybody wants to come up and speak,
I wonder if anyone does have any questions, then, specifically, then obviously fire away. But if not, fine. But
yeah. I mean, this is in the kind of open mic. Normally, the first part of the interview is you guys just chatting and explaining, and then I open the floor up. So, all right. I'll officially open the floor up then to speakers. So I've got my eye on the speaker requests. I will action them straight away. Carry on.
Have you got anything else you'd like to ask us, Shaggy, in terms of things, or have we covered most of the things that you
I think we've covered quite a lot of the things. I mean, I'm kind of interested in, so what you do as well as selling stuff, your own stuff that you've fundraised for or collected, to Ukraine, you also kind of help others with transporters and stuff like that. So on long routes going backwards and forwards to Ukraine, you must have had a few funny stories happen and stuff like that. So a few of those, I like some of the funny anecdotal stories that have happened over the last nearly 4 years that have happened.
I could tell you a funny one about Nick.
Oh, yeah.
He's just looking at
We're
me
all
now,
ears.
and he's
We're all
threatening to
ears.
walk out the room. But it's not okay. It's not embarrassing. Yeah. We very early on we had a gentleman come and approach us called Phil Webb, who became a very good friend of mine, and unfortunately passed away last year. And he was a head of security and driver for Brian May of Queen. And Brian had sent Phil down to see us to offer his long wheelbase. Basically, they bought a van to transport stuff to Ukraine for us. And Phil did many journeys, being an ex-military guy with a couple of his ex-military mates. So very early on, they were coming in and out of Ukraine. And a massive, and Brian and Phil were a massive support to us. And Nick ended up on one of these journeys, but didn't quite realise that with Phil's specialist driver training, he decided to drive across Europe reasonably within the speed limit. But once he was in Ukraine, I think it just went as fast as the van could take him every direction. And I think Nick, by the end of each day, was a bag of shaking nerves and maybe drank a bottle of spirits each night to recover from his driving experiences with Phil.
And every other word, I can swear a lot, and Roy will vouch for that. But Phil's every third word from Phil was a swear word as well. Typically about other nationality drivers getting in his way and preventing him from delivering the aid quickly. Well, it's just in terms of supporting other people, and I'm really, in terms of logistics, we do generally try to. I think the first time we really were able to help someone that you guys may know on here, Felicity Spector, who's often out in Odessa. I think it was back in early spring 2023. She needed a 400 kilo bread mixer. I think. Taken from Germany or no, I think it was the UK to Odessa, and we were able to facilitate that. And that's just another example of relationships and supporting each other, to which I'm sure any other Ukrainian individual volunteer who supports Ukraine or other organisations, I'm sure that they've done the same. My mind's gone a blank now, but I know we've just helped people relatively recently. And the quid pro quo, if I've got that right. And Roy will. These are good people. But they fly under the radar in terms of their support, but they deliver significant support. A guy on here called, and I hope he doesn't get annoyed with me, a guy called Stuart Paver. Is on here on Twitter, and he owns Paver's Shoes and Paver's Foundation. They're incredibly helpful. We were able to facilitate a significant purchase of medical aid for them through our other partners, Vans Without Borders. And as a result of that, and being able to link them up, now they work extensively with Vans Without Borders. Stuart is currently out there at the moment in Ukraine, just in Kharkiv, visiting a children's charity that was recommended through contacts contacts from Vans Without Borders. But as a result of us being able to help facilitate, say back in 2023, they thanked us by donating 8 ventilator machines to us that they had purchased at auction. And for our distribution to the hospitals that we knew needed them. So if that relationship, they saw me on Twitter, as Surrey Stands with Ukraine, Stuart reached out, I was put onto his number 2 straight away, and we organised it. And I can assure you they are incredible supporters of Ukraine. They just fly under the radar. But that is a result. What happened with us receiving these eight ventilators was very emotional, very kind of them to do so. But that wouldn't happen without us helping each other. And the more, perhaps when this started, I have and to an extent I'm still like this, but my faith in human nature dropped dramatically. I've got, I was worrying about my friend in Mariupol, lost contact with her for 53 days at the start, constant attacks on Kharkiv and my friend there. And incidentally, her apartment was actually hit about 3 weeks ago. She's okay. Thank God. But I lost faith in human nature, and it's a real pain in the arse that Roy's here, because I'm sort of passing on sort of deflected praise to him and everyone else. But being when I stumbled across the charity, you cannot help but have a rekindled faith in human nature, despite the horrendous evil that is happening for almost 4 years. And prior to that, from 2014, there are so many good people out there. We just don't always know it. And it's perhaps when you have the crucible of evil and bad news that comes out, that all of a sudden these people float to the surface. And it's the nature of the relationships we all make. And I'm sure every single one of us on here as supporters of Ukraine have probably come across other just decent people. And that's what happened between pavers donating us the ventilators. We weren't looking for anything. It's just simply you look to help anyone who you believe is good, trustworthy, and can help Ukraine. So, yeah. Anyway, so not a funny story, but it's hopefully it's one that resonates.
Oh, yeah, that definitely resonates. It's trying to help each other, and that last bit you talked about resonates with me. So for the first 4 months of the year, kind of before NAFO came about, I thought I was on my own trying to support Ukraine, and I just generally ended up going down a dark rabbit hole because I was just by myself. And then found NAFO, having realised it wasn't anything to do with crypto, because it had a Shiba Inu in there. And once I realised it wasn't to do with crypto, and there's a whole community there, NAFO saved me mentally, come end of July, beginning of August 2022. And well, I haven't really looked back since then. So how has NAFO affected, Surrey Stands with Ukraine?
So, to be honest, let's just say our demographic is not particularly young. And let's just say...
Hold on. Apart from me.
Yeah, okay. Actually, Roy is one of the younger ones. So many are not. Most of our volunteers are not on Twitter. Okay, most of them aren't. And
where would you say they are? Are they on Facebook or your other side? Which are your biggest socials?
They are more on. Again, it'd still be a minority of our volunteers, but they will typically be on Facebook. So I think I only know of half a dozen of our volunteers that are on Twitter. But I understood what NAFO was all about. And yeah, we have never been, we've never been like members of NAFO. I'm here representing Surrey Stands with Ukraine, but clearly they have been for us a tremendous force for good, in the way in which they have, when you get to know us, you see our track history. Then it comes down to trust. They trust us and they'll retweet, support, donate. So in that regard, I do try and explain and have done 2 years ago to our volunteers exactly what this is. I'm not sure they still entirely understand, but I recognise the worth and very grateful for all those part of that community who have supported us and continue to support us.
Yeah, NAFO's well, a cool organisation. I like it. My stats for this channel, for instance, on my channel, are normally kind of 45 and over. So that probably chimes with your volunteer lot, even if they're not on Twitter. One thing I would say actually about all the contacts you have and all the people that maybe don't get as much airtime or anything on Twitter that they should. We should have them on. Hopefully next time we won't have any of these Twitter box spaces, but the charities and the volunteers that you've talked about before that you trust, I would really like to have them on as well, either with you or by themselves, so we can talk and give them a little bit of airtime as well, and introduce them to the community here. Most of the community here are the NAFO community, and then from that, well, as you mentioned before, ripples, and try and get some ripples created for you. Sorry.
No, thank you so much. Actually, I have come back. It's not a, look, I have got some funny stories, but seriously, they're just some that I cannot say because,
Is that because I'm here, or it's
yeah, probably because Roy's here.
You can't say that and then not say them. That's like teasing.
This is how you need to picture, and this is through me, my prism. Okay, so I don't know if whoever here is listening understands Slow Horses or The Office in terms of, those. Essentially, you've got good, well-meaning but perhaps slightly dysfunctional people, eclectic characters that come together, and I personally view our organisation as a cross between The Office and Slow Horses. I am known as Jackson Lamb within the as a bloody miserable sort of cracker of the whip, this, that, and the other. But no, we've got such, and I'm sure other organisations have this.
You'll know them much worse words than that.
Yeah, eclectic mix. But how we make it work, sometimes I scratch my head, but we really do, and I'm proud to be part of the team.
Excellent. Yeah. I mean, I think everyone's mental health has gone slightly kind of kooky, due to the full-scale invasion because of what the Russians have done. And also kind of, we're British, aren't we? We're a bit eccentric generally.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah. Exactly. So we do what we do. We muddle through. We do the best we can, and we got a very in a lot of respects, I think we're very similar to the Ukrainians, actually, and we make do with what we've got. We just get on with it.
That's really important, Shaggy, because we don't, this charity runs on a shoestring, and it runs on the goodwill and bits of expertise of various people that are sort of stuck together with, a bit of sticky tape and elastic bands and a beer and a bottle of wine in an evening. But somehow we make it work. And I think it's pretty much down to a massive amount of determination. And when you hit a wall and someone's saying no, it's like, no, we're not accepting no. There's got to be a solution. There's got to be someone that's going to help us. There's got to be an organisation, a key person we can talk to, someone that's willing. And I think if you're willing to ask and reach out to people, typically, a bit like the Ashley Centre we spoke about at the start, there's most of the time people are willing to help if they can.
Exactly. If they can, they will. And basically, if people, I think a lot of people in the UK are kind of not quite sure how to help Ukraine, and therefore when they hear about charities like yours, and volunteer and different ways to volunteer, it gives them an out to get in, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of people who want to help, especially older people as well, who maybe have the time because they've retired and stuff like that. But maybe they haven't got the physical attributes to be able to lug stuff around, but they can still do other stuff, which is all very handy. Even sorting through stuff is probably the most time-consuming thing, I think. Sorry,
yeah,
sorting through all the donations you get.
Yeah, you just hit the nail on the head. And what I would just say here, in terms of, and this is a genuine thank you on behalf of Roy, myself, and the entire charity. I know that there's a reasonable amount of people on here, and either part of the NAFO group or not, who live Portsmouth, I can see, I don't know if Martin's still there. No, he may have gone. Portsmouth through to Birmingham, through to Scotland, who either send parcels directly to us or a lady, I forget her Twitter handle, came down probably about 7 weeks ago. We started chatting on Twitter, moved to WhatsApp, and she drove down from West Midlands to us just to drop off aid to us because she couldn't find any locally. But that's just incredible. It genuinely is incredible that she took virtually, a whole day just to come down. Thankfully, we've got tea facilities. We can offer biscuits and we can show people around our hub, which is very important to us. But my God, it's not just, it's not just local. I received another parcel last week from, what's her name? Twixie Puff, I think, from Scotland. So, it's wonderful. Thank you very much to all those who are out there and listening to this. And just thank you.
Yeah, thanks for donating. Keep sending the donations in. All right, if anybody wants to request speaker, because we'd like some questions for Surrey. It's all very good, you guys listening down there. I've got my eye on my little speaker thing, so if anybody wants it. So either people are requesting and I can't see them, because of this Twitter pops thing, or nobody's got any questions. I suspect it might be the former. However, it is what it is. So let's go on to your current fundraiser. Why is it important?
Current fundraiser, so the Winter 8-pack version 2, if you like, because we did this last winter. It's massively important. Again, it wasn't just thought up by some British people on a committee sat in a room. There's Ukrainian people on the committee. We consult with Ukrainians here and Ukrainians over in Ukraine to funnel down some essential items that they would like if they received a pack in the winter. And in this pack, we have a gas stove, so like a camping gas stove burner with 5 gas canisters that go with that. And the reason why we did that is because gas can be found reasonably easily in Ukraine. We send a rechargeable battery pack so they can charge up their phones, which is pretty essential because when there's big long periods of no power, their phones need to charge because they get their air raid alerts on their phone. The phone is used after an air raid alert to tell family and friends that people are safe. Also, children that are sat there in the dark and the air raids are going off and there's bombs dropping can have a distraction. They can play a game on the phone. They can read a story on the phone. They can watch a downloaded cartoon on the phone. That was also pretty important in there. There's also a flashlight, a rechargeable flashlight, so they can see in the dark. They can see to get to the bathroom. They can see to read. They can see to play games. And this year we've added a additional warm blanket into the pack. And these packs cost around £50 to bundle together. And the feedback we got last year, we raised £10,000 last year, sent 200. They went out to a town very close to the front lines.
Zaporizhia.
Which is Nick's just...
Zaporizhia, a town in Zaporizhia.
And the feedback was phenomenal that we got, that it made such a difference to people. So we decided this year, we thought about, do we do something different? Do we try and mix it up a little bit more? But actually, if you get something right, you should probably do the same thing again. So
Exactly what I was about to say. Don't change a winning formula.
We raised money quickly. It hit the right notes. I think we had Ed Davey down here
That was
last year for last year's one. We got a lot of support on it. We're hoping to get the same support this year. So I do urge anyone that's following this to please share our fundraiser out there. We're not quite halfway through, but I'm hoping that we can get the 10,000 in the time we need. We've actually started procuring the packs now over in Ukraine. ready for shipment. So basically, once we get a certain amount of money in, we don't wait for the 10,000. We start to ship the money, so we can start to procure the items, build the packs, and get them ready for shipment. So we don't have to delay anything. No, and that's probably a big thing to mention is all the way along in the charity. Whenever we've raised some money, we don't have it sitting in the bank account. We spend the money. We spend it as quick as we can get it. There's no good having £50,000 sat in our bank account. It makes no sense. So we get it out there and put it to use based on the due diligence and the fundraiser we're doing. The difference with the Winter Aid Pack this year is rather than buying the stoves in the UK, kindly Halfords did us a massive discount. We're actually buying them in Ukraine. So it's got a bit of a double impact. It's got the impact of the actual packs going to the families, but it also has a small impact on the Ukrainian economy over there, and the teams over there as well. So it's the Winter Aid Pack fundraiser. It's on our X feed. It's on Facebook. Nick can repost it again after this. I think you've reposted it. If people could share that through their networks, and anyone can donate anything. And really important to remind everyone, we're 100% volunteer charity. We don't pay anyone anything. We don't pay rent. We don't pay business rates. We don't pay utilities. So it really means when you hear a charity say every pound goes to benefit the Ukrainian people, it really means every pound goes to benefit the Ukrainian people.
I've just put your fundraiser post back up in the nest again. It's the latest post up in the nest. It was up there before, but we crashed. But anyway, so yeah, if everybody in the space can retweet that latest Surrey Stands with Ukraine tweet, try and get this. I mean, in the back of my mind, in my heart, I've got, well, what is it? It's 6 days till Christmas. If you can get close to getting that 200, or even get that 200 done by Christmas, that'd be awesome. But that's probably a bit of an ask. But
no, it would be awesome, and we keep spreading the message just to give people an idea of what we do locally here and how we keep this alive. We had the Ukrainian choir singing on Saturday in the local shopping centre for 1 hour. That raised £600. They sang again for an hour on Sunday. This is 10, 12 Ukrainian ladies, fantastic choir. That raised another £600. We had a band play at a pub called the Half Moon in Putney, just outside of London. Fantastic pub, really well known for live music. And there's a band called the Angels. I think that's the 7th time that the Angels have played. It's an 8-piece rock band. And they've played private gigs for us, and they play a gig regularly at the Half Moon in Putney, which they dedicate to us. I think that raised £13,000 on the night. 1,300 on the night for us. So as well as the fundraisers online, we try and raise money locally as much as we can, because it just keeps the community really in touch with what's going on in Ukraine. It's partly about the money, and partly about making sure Ukraine doesn't drop off people's radar, because on the national news, it does drop off the radar. You have one of the heaviest bombardments in an evening, and it doesn't always make the number one slot on the BBC anymore. And so yeah, we try and keep it alive as much as possible. We also have a kiosk in one of the shopping centres, which is labelled with our stuff that people drop money in. I think that takes about 2,000, 2,500 a month, something like that, along with soft aid donations. So all this adds to the money that we have to be able to keep funding what we do.
excellent. Wow. You're actually a lot bigger and do a lot more than I thought you did, Surrey, to tell you the truth. And this is partly the reason why I wanted you on, to inform us of what you do and everything that you do. So it's not just donate some money or goods to you and then you'll get it to Ukraine somehow. It's a lot more than that, is what I'm gathering from this interview.
Yeah, and I don't know whether Nick will kick me for saying this or not, but you're all welcome to come and see the hub. Drop us a line, come down, shag yourself, come down, meet the team. come to one of our events. You're more than welcome to join us at an event. We had a joint event where John Sweeney, ex-BBC journalist, Panorama guy, quite a big advocate of Ukraine, very anti-Russian. He came down and did an evening for us as well.
And Serena Zabriskie.
Serena Zabriskie, she's just done a documentary, Human Safari, which you can find out there on YouTube. She's a Ukrainian ancestry American that went out to Ukraine and has lived there since the start of the war. She does a fantastic job of documenting the war crimes of the Russians, especially linked around drones, that basically the Russians use drones to chase down civilians and kill them. And it's very well documented. It's a pretty harrowing documentary that she's done.
To us.
Yeah, and she's come down here to Epsom to see us. She did an event. I think we raised £1,500 on that night. She came down and did a talk for us, totally free from her point of view. But we sold tickets and raised money on the night. So we're doing local fundraisers. We do as much as we can locally, as much as possible. So yeah, like Nick said earlier, this 360-degree approach. It's Ukrainian community here. It's engaging with the British community here. It's collaboration and cooperation with businesses, pubs, events, bands, comedians, people that do documentaries, people engage with Ukraine. It's collaboration, cooperation with our volunteers, with organisations in Ukraine. We have a lawyer in Ukraine that does a lot of due diligence for us, working with a lawyer here. So it takes time when someone approaches us and says, "Can you fund us?" It takes us quite a while to go through that due diligence before we get the funding to them. The supporting of Ukrainian families that are here, supporting Ukrainian families that are there. Mental and physical rehabilitation through, one example is Fierce Calm, that does a great job. We've funded them directly with money sent to Ukraine. We've funded child respite care in Ukraine for children on near the front lines to take them away for long weekends. We've supported an orphanage that specialises in children that have lost both parents through the war. In fact, actually, we just sent some more money the other day to one of those. So it is this 360-degree support that we do, and I am super proud of being part of this wonderful community and organisation. I've never been involved in a charity before this, so it was all very new to me, and I've had to find my feet along the way, especially when it comes to the rules and regulations. But I just think it's I'm just honestly one of the proudest things I've been involved in, and that's down to the people. That's down to kindness, and I say this a lot when I have to stand up and do a talk in front of our volunteers, which sometimes I'm forced to do. I always say kindness is key for me. I think if everyone can live their life at a point of kindness, whatever action you do or decision you make, if it comes from a point of kindness, you don't go far wrong in life. And, you don't always get it right, but if you start from a point of kindness, I think the end result is or always should be a good thing. But yeah, I think the big takeaway from me from all of this is the majority of people are good, and it doesn't matter what you see on the news. That makes everyone seem bad, and especially when you get sucked into an organisation that focuses very much on some evil bastards that have walked into a country and are committing mass atrocities on those people. It makes you think life's pretty shit and everyone's bad. You know something? A few people are bad, and it needs a lot more good people to stand up against them, because the vast majority of people in this world are good. It's just making sure that our voices are the loudest, not the evil fucking bastards that commit the atrocities. They shouldn't have the loudest voice.
Exactly. 100%. 100%. You know what? We've lured someone up from listeners, sorry. We got Pompey up. Pompey.
Good evening, everyone. It wasn't a question as such. I just wanted to say thank you to Surrey Stands with Ukraine and to say thank you for all they do. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin.
Hey, Martin. Nick here. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I've just finished work for 2 weeks. So I'm
Very
awesome.
good then.
So everyone, just let you know, Martin's always been a great supporter of ours. I think I can remember when he had a few hundred supporters. Now he's got over 4,000. He's the actual. He did a fundraiser for us back in 2023. Was going to do the Great South Run from recollection, mate, and sadly it didn't happen because of the weather at that time. There was a horrific storm, I remember.
Called off,
But yeah, and Martin always backs us and promotes us on Fiverr Friday, etc. So genuinely, we probably owe him when we head further afield now. We may have some other contacts heading down that way that we need to investigate. So if we do, we'll probably head round to Martin's and just see if we can grab a cup of tea.
Get the kettle on, Martin. And if you're speaking, I can't hear you.
Still,
I'd love to make you a cup of tea anytime.
Brilliant. Well, I'm going to be coming down to see you sometime next year.
Please do.
In Epsom. Can't hear anyone. I'm coming down to visit you in Epsom sometime next year. Surrey Stands with Ukraine. Quite fancy doing a space actually from your Epsom hub, as it were. We could do a space from there.
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, we've got great Wi-Fi. We've got plenty of space there. Come down, and then me and Nick will take you out for dinner and a couple of drinks.
I think I'll take you out for dinner because then when you're spending your money, I'll spend mine. So we'll do that. That's the deal.
That sounds even better. Why don't you come down tomorrow?
I would. I need to sort my car out there. I have a bit of a car. I have a slight car issue. Otherwise, I'd literally be there probably tomorrow, actually. But I've got a little bit of a car issue. But that's my problem. I'll sort that one out. Brilliant. Okay. Yeah. I mean, ideally, kind of because we've touched base a little bit, and because like there's people like Pompey and other people who are interested in what you do. Maybe come on, maybe once a month or once every couple of months, just to give us an update as to, yeah, exactly. Maybe not as long as the interview as this one, although it could be, but just to give us an update, and that'll give you some engagement and reach and get more people to talk about you and bring your friends as well. And by friends, I mean the people that you work with as well. So yeah, we'll touch base in the background and talk about.
We could bring a special guest on every time we come on and do a slightly shorter session, but more focused on whichever guest we bring on.
Yeah, exactly.
What I would say is, and again, if it might be interesting to people, is just understanding a little bit more how we might get to the point of focusing on an area that we want to focus on and how we develop that, just to give perhaps some insight to people who, I'm sure there are plenty of people out here who understand, but just going through that process, how it works, and when you see the end result, something sort of shorter and focused on perhaps a particular topic, if people would find that interesting.
Yeah, this has been a bit of our first introduction. First of all, just a bit of a wide-ranging interview with technical difficulties, which has been a bit of a pain in the ass, I have to say. Hopefully next time it won't be, and yeah, we can sort that out, a regular little thing. That would be actually awesome. That's kind of what this space is all about, is as well as bringing news and views and having people chatting, is also promoting fundraisers. So we definitely want to promote your fundraisers and the people you support as well. Brilliant. All right then. Anybody else from the panel, from the listener panel, want to come up? Please request and ask your questions. Laura, I don't know if you've got any questions or if you can speak or not. I can see your emoji going up and down. Anything from me, Laura? Maybe.
Can you guys hear me okay? Oh, perfect. Thank you. No, just thank you so much. I can't. It's inspirational to hear what you all do. I think it reminds me of Coast of Life, that it sounds like you were able to rally just this tremendous community support. I still at some point would love to hear more about that. I think it's interesting. Mailu, who I think was in the audience, she sent me something that it was a man talking about how Ukraine had developed relationships very effectively, and that was part of their success. And I loved everything you guys talked about. You guys are such exceptional professionals. in explaining what you do. You guys did a wonderful job. Thank you so much for joining today.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Yeah, it's very kind. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, with that, I can't see any more questions, so we could maybe wrap it up, Surrey, for both of you. Any final words you want to give? I just want to say one thing before you start. I'd like people to retweet your fundraiser out. If you haven't done that yet, just do that little simple thing, and that'd be really, really helpful. If you can make a donation as well, it is Fiver Friday. So a fiver or multiple fivers, will be even better. But if you can, do that as well. One or both of those things if you're able. I know you're able to do the first one, so get on it. Sorry.
Chaggy, thank you. Really appreciate this. We reached out about 6 weeks ago, and thank you for accommodating us. Thank you to everyone who has listened despite the difficulties. Thank you for just bearing with me and my rambling. I'm pleased you've got to be able to meet Roy, who I've spoke about sometimes in our posts on Twitter. But genuinely, it's humbling. Thank you very much to all of you. Keep supporting Ukraine, and yeah, thank you. Really appreciate you coming along to listen.
And I guess for me, I will just add this, that we are absolutely nothing. This charity is zero without this community, our volunteers, and everyone that spreads the word about Ukraine, because we're just nothing. We're nothing without the team around us. Without that team, we don't exist. And for me, I think I'd thank everybody that gives and helps and supports us as a charity, because it helps Ukraine. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. And I apologise from me and on behalf of Elmer, I suppose, for the Twitter problems. I think this is the 7th iteration of the space we did today. This is the worst one for me from a technical perspective. So hopefully it'll be better next time. We'll just have one space and you'll be up, Surrey, and no problems.
Hey,
go.
Sorry, don't worry. We don't stop. We won't stop. That's our hashtag. And so, yeah. That's absolutely fine. We'll just keep going, no matter what problems occur. So thank you for keep persisting.
Yeah, we'll keep calm and carry on, and we'll keep buggering on, as our friend Ian said. And I'm going to keep that. I'm going to keep that going as well. We'll keep buggering on. So with that, thank you very much for coming, and good luck with the fundraising. I really hope you get to that 200 sooner rather than later. Have a great Christmas, because it's only just around the corner. My thoughts are with your team, both the Ukrainian team and the non-Ukrainian team as well, which are there, both of them. I hope you're going to have a good Christmas and New Year. I was very glad to hear yesterday that, on a slightly different journey to get 90 billion euros released to Ukraine, that the EU managed to sort out a way. If it wasn't plan A, it was definitely plan B. So that's going to help a lot, and that's a bit of a weight off my shoulders anyway, even though there are some repercussions. So that's good. But that's from the government level. From our level, we've got to do what we can do. So it's helping charities like Surrey Stands with Ukraine, and the charities that they support, and other volunteers as well. We can do what we can do. The governments do what they do. We can talk to our representatives and pressure them and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they're going to do what they're going to do. It may be what we want them to do. It may not. But we can control what we do. We can put one foot in front of the other. We can retweet one fundraiser tweet at a time. We can make one Fiverr donation at a time. We can give support to each other, as and when required. And that's what we do here. So we'll keep doing that. So any final words from you, Laura, before we close the space?
No, I think that's a good thing to hear, and that kind of exactly like Undertow talked about, like, just keep going. Like, is it keep buggering on? I think I'm getting it right, but he said just keep going, which is something that's resonated with me. And I mean, just listening to what Surrey Stands with Ukraine has done, I mean, that's incredible. And just to hear your determination, because I know and I may have mentioned to you guys, I'm not sleeping well at all. And I think other people are just thinking so much about the conflicts in the world, and not to do harm to yourself, but to keep going if you can. And I'm so grateful to everyone, all the NAFO Ukraine supporters, everyone. You guys are amazing. Thanks so much for everything.
Fantastic.
All right, thanks, Laura.
Merry Christmas.
Go, Tom. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you too. A Merry festive period. I think we've got to be diplomatically correct on these things, haven't we? Merry festive period, Christmas or whatever it is for you. If it's just happy holidays, maybe. Okay, with that we'll close. So good luck with the fundraiser, Surrey, and we'll catch you in the new year probably. And I'll be retweeting your tweets more.
Cheers,
Thank
Shaggy.
you.
Bye.
Do побачення.
Hello, Slava Ukraini.
Herom Slava.
Slava Nasi.
I never remember that one.
Smrt Voraham, my favourite one actually.
Snip got
That's the
ham.
one, yes. I'll teach you that one. Smrt Voraham. Okay, with that we'll go. Catch you all later.
Love you all. Thank you so much. Bye.